A concept you may or may not have seen in algebra is the idea of what's called a factorial. A factorial is represented by using this exclamation point here. And so I can put anything I want in the blue box, and after it write the exclamation point, and it'll mean that number factorial. So let's go ahead and look at an example. We might want to say 3 factorial, or maybe 2 factorial. We might even want to take 20 factorial. So that little exclamation point there means factorial. It's also important that we understand exactly what it means to take a factorial. That is, what does that do? And so in order to understand that, let's go ahead and take 3 factorial. When I take a factorial, I take the number written and I multiply it by everything less than itself down to 1. So 3 factorial will be 3 times 2 times 1. 2 factorial will be like 2 times 1. 20 factorial, on the other hand, is a little bit more tedious. It's like 20 times 19 times 18, and so forth, all the way down. Now, this invents some problems. We see some difficulties arise with this, and one of the things we're worried about is, why do we stop at 1, and why don't we put like times 0 in there? Why don't we keep going? And the answer for that is that if I times anything by 0, it is always 0. And so if factorial included times 0, every factorial ever would be 0. That'd be kind of pointless, so we stop it at 1. Another thing we need to look at here is, okay, 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1, 2 factorial is 2 times 1. What would happen if I took 1 factorial? And because I know a factorial is it times everything less than itself down to 1, well, it makes sense that 1 factorial would literally just be 1. 0 factorial, on the other hand, is a little bit challenging, and it's something we're going to need for when we do combinations and permutations. So, when I write 0 factorial, for now, I want you to believe me that, in fact, it's just going to be equal to 1. And we'll talk about this later on, exactly why that is.